Welcome to today's yoga practice where we will be focused on the hips and back. You are welcome to use a couple of blocks if those are part of your practice. If you don't have them, they're not necessary. They can just at times be helpful. So we will go ahead and get started in child's pose. So come to sit back on the heels. Toes are together, big toes together. Knees can be together, or you can bring them out wider apart. Just find what feels better for you. I like my knees together. Take the arms out long in front of you on the mat, and then rest the forehead down on the ground or on one of your blocks. And we'll just settle in here, letting our mind calm down. And take a few moments for some deep, slow breaths. On your next inhale, go ahead and begin to lift the chest, walking the hands back and placing them on the thighs. So we're now sitting back on the heels. Just begin to roll out the shoulders. So taking the shoulders up towards the ears, back and down. Inhale on the way up and exhale on the way back and down. And then reverse the direction. So shoulders up, forward, and down. Inhale on the way up. Exhale on the way forward and down. And last time. Come back to center. Drop the chin to the chest. And on an exhale, take the right ear to the right shoulder. Inhale, chin to chest. Exhale, left ear to left shoulder. And then just continue taking the head from side to side, slowly. Maybe stopping where you find a point that needs extra attention. And then again, drop the chin back to the chest and then lift the gaze forward. Come into your tabletop position, so walking the hands out in front of you. Hands are underneath the shoulders, knees are underneath the hips. We'll flow through a couple of cat-cow. Inhale to lift the tailbone, chin and chest. Exhale, round the back, tucking the tailbone and chin. Inhale to lift the tailbone, chin and chest. Exhale, rounding the back. And then do this a couple more times at your own pace. Last time in your cat position, and then come back to a neutral tabletop. Take the right leg out long behind you, tuck the toes under, and then press the heel back towards the wall behind you, finding a stretch down the calf. Take a couple of breaths here. You can also bring in some forward and back movement here. And then come back to center. Lift the right foot off the ground so your leg is now at hip level. Take an inhale here. Exhale, bring the knee to nose. Inhale, take the leg back out long. Exhale, knee to nose. Do this about 3 more times at your own pace. And then lower the right knee back down to the ground and we'll switch sides. So taking the left leg out long behind you, tuck the toes under, and then press the heel back toward the wall behind you. Take a couple of breaths here. And then you can go ahead and begin to rock forward and back. And then come back to your neutral, steady position and lift the left leg off the ground, bringing it to hip level. Inhale here. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, take the leg back out long behind you. Exhale, knee to nose. Do this about 3 more times at your own pace. Last time, knee to nose. Take the leg back out and then place the knee back down on the ground. Tuck the back, tuck the toes under, press into the ground, lifting the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Begin to pedal out the feet here. And then come up on both tippy toes and then take the heels over to the right. So now you're getting a stretch on the left side of the body. Keep pressing into the left hand. Come back to center. Come back up onto the tippy toes. Take the heels over to the left. And then press into the right hand. And then come back to center. Maybe take a second to rock the hips from side to side. And on your next inhale, take the right foot to the outside of the right hand. Lower the back knee all the way down to the ground, coming into lizard pose. Keeping the chest aiming forward. Take a few breaths here. Keeping the right knee pulled in toward your right arm. Last full breath here. Take one more inhale. And on your exhale, shift the hips back, straightening the right leg and aiming the right toes toward the ceiling. So we're in a variation of half split here. Continuing to breathe. Pulling the shoulders away from the ears. Last inhale here. Exhale, send the weight forward, bending back into the right knee. And then take that right foot and shimmy it so that it's in between the hands now. Coming into a low lunge position, go ahead and lift the chest. You can have hands on your blocks here, or option to raise the arms overhead. Sending the chest up and forward. Last breath here. If your hands are raised, take the right hand down to the ground, lift the left, keep the left arm lifted. So right fingertips can be resting on the floor or block, and then lean to the right. So side stretch in your Anjaneyasana. Inhale, come back to center. Frame the right foot with the hands, and then step back to find your downward facing dog. Take a couple of breaths here in downward dog. On your next inhale, step the left foot to the outside of the left hand. Drop the right knee down to the ground. Lizard pose on the left side. So keeping this left knee pulled in tight toward the left arm. Chest is reaching forward. Breathe. Keeping the neck neutral. Shoulders are falling away from the ears. Last inhale. Exhale, send the hips back, straighten the left leg. Left toes point up toward the ceiling for half split. Last breath here. Send the weight forward again, bending into the left leg. And then shimmy the left foot in between the hands. Keeping the right leg lowered down to the ground. Lift the chest, Anjaneyasana or low lunge. Remember, hands can be resting on blocks here, or you have the option to raise them overhead. Keep the chest lifting up. Last breath here. Go ahead and keep the right arm lifted. Left hand is going to lower down to the floor or to a block while you lean over with the right arm to the left. So side stretch while you're in your low lunge. Last breath here. Inhale, come back to center. Frame the left foot with the hands. Tuck the right toes and step back into your downward facing dog. Take a couple of breaths here. On an inhale, begin to walk the feet so that they meet the back of the hands. And then you want to have your feet a little bit wider than hips width. Go ahead and find your forward fold here. So hands can be on the floor or blocks. And then you can bend the knees as much as necessary for you. We'll be here for a few breaths. Maybe you want to rock a little from side to side. Coming back to the center of your forward fold, keeping the hands on the ground or on your block. Begin to take the toes out just slightly so that the feet are at an angle. And then start to lower the hips all the way down, coming into yogi squat. So you can keep the hands planted on the ground in front of you, or you can begin to press the elbows into the legs, place the hands in prayer position. If your heels are not reaching the ground and you're up like this, that's totally okay. You also have the option of placing a block underneath your hips. So just wherever you are, trying to keep the chest lifted as much as possible. Taking a few breaths here. Place the hands back down on the ground or on a block, and then lift the hips, coming back into your forward fold. Straighten out the feet. And on an inhale, begin to slowly roll up to standing. Walk your feet in so that they are about hip width apart. Catch your breath, find your balance. Inhale, raise the arms. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift the chest away from the thighs. Exhale, step back to plank. Take a full inhale and exhale here. Inhale one last time. Exhale, lower all the way down to the ground as slowly as you can. Place the tops of the feet down on the ground and press the feet into the floor. Lift the kneecaps and then lift the chest away from the floor. So you have the hands here for support, but see if you can take any of the weight out of your hands while keeping the chest lifted. So we're working on back strength here. So you can take them all the way off the floor, but if you need that support, just try not to be pressing into the ground. You want to be lifting the chest with the strength of the back. Take a couple more breaths here. And lower the hands down, bring them underneath the head, and then go ahead and rest the head on the hands and shake the hips from side to side. So we'll do 2 more variations of that. If you want to do what we just did, that's fine. Or we'll try a second option. Let's go ahead, let the forehead rest on the ground. Take the arms by your sides, palms facing down. Feet press into the floor, kneecaps lift. On an inhale, lift the chest, lift the hands. Breathe. Reaching to the wall behind you. Neck is neutral. Last inhale. Exhale, release. Rest the forehead on the hands. Rock the hips out. We'll do that one last time, so you can do either option 1 or option 2, or you can try option 3. So for option 3, same starting position, arms by your sides, palms facing down. Press the feet into the floor, lift the kneecaps. Lift the chest and arms, lift the legs. Continue to breathe. Neck is neutral. Reaching to the wall behind you. Last inhale. Exhale, release. Place the forehead on the hands and rock the hips out. Go ahead and bring the hands back underneath the shoulders. Press back into your tabletop position. And from here, we'll move into pigeon pose. So take the right knee to the back of the right hand, and then the right foot will come to rest between the left hand and the left hip. So the leg is at an angle. Go ahead and scooch the left leg back long behind you. And then if the right hip is not meeting the floor, you can place a block underneath the hip. So you have the option to stay here with the chest lifted, or you can begin to fold any amount over the right leg. And we'll be here for several breaths. Last breath here. On an inhale, begin to walk the hands back, lifting the chest, and then make your way back to tabletop. We'll switch sides. So, left hand or left knee comes to the back of the left hand. The left foot will rest between the right hand and the right hip. Go ahead and tuck the right toes under and shimmy the right leg back and down. Remember, you can place a block underneath this left hip if needed. So you can stay here, or you begin to fold over the left leg any amount. And we'll be here for several breaths. Last inhale. Exhale. On your next inhale, begin to walk the hands back, lifting the chest, and come back into your tabletop position. Go ahead and sit the hips back, swing the feet out so you find a seated position on the floor. Take the legs out long in front of you. Pull the right knee into the chest. Take the left arm, hug the knee into the chest. Right hand will rest on the floor behind you. Inhale, lengthen and lift. Exhale, twist the chest over to the right. Gaze can be at the wall to your right or over the right shoulder. Last inhale. Exhale, come back to center. Take the right leg back out long. And then pull the left knee into the chest. Hug the knee in with the right arm. Place the left hand on the ground behind you. Inhale, lengthen the spine, lift the chest. Exhale, twist to the left. Gaze can be at the wall to your left or over your left shoulder. Last inhale here. Exhale, come back to center. Place both soles of the feet down onto the ground and then roll back into a reclined position. So we'll find our way into reclined butterfly. So toes are together, and then you're going to let the knees open up. The soles of the feet will meet, and the knees will just rest to the sides. If you need blocks underneath your knees, you can go ahead and place those there. Hands can be resting on the belly or just down on the floor. And we'll take several breaths here. Last inhale. Exhale. Go ahead and bring the knees back to touch in the center. Soles of the feet find the ground. And then pull the knees into the chest. Let the hands rest lightly on your knees and begin making circles with the knees. So just tiny massage on the lower back by making circles. And then reverse the direction of your circles. Come back to center, knees are pulled in towards the chest. Let the arms fall out to the sides, long or in a cactus position. And then allow the knees to fall over to the left. Recline, twist. Gaze can remain up towards the ceiling or over to the wall at your right. Breathing here. Last breath here. On an inhale, bring the knees back into the chest. And then on an exhale, let the legs fall over to the right. Gaze can be up at the ceiling, or the head can turn to gaze over at the left. Last breath here. And then come back to center. Making your way into Shavasana, your final resting pose. Take the legs out long, wider than the hips. Let the feet fall out to the sides. Arms rest down by your sides with the palms facing up. Just begin to let your breath slow down and deepen. Begin to slowly bring some movement back into the hands and feet. Place the soles of the feet down onto the ground. And pull the knees into the chest. And then slowly rolling over onto one side. And then making your way back into a seated position. Eyes can remain closed. Hands resting on the thighs. Taking a couple of last deep breaths. Inhale through the nose. And exhale through the nose or mouth. Inhale through the nose. And exhale. Last time, inhale through the nose. And let it go. Slowly open your eyes. Thank you for practicing with me today. Bye.